Farming along the mighty Mississippi River can be both rewarding and challenging, but it's a life and a livelihood Joe Zumwalt has grown to love. He's our third finalist for Top Producer of the Year, which is awarded by our partners at Top Producer Magazine. Our own Clinton Griffiths has his story from Warsaw, Illinois.
Just see the power of the water eating away.
This was the scene in 2008 near Joe Zumwalt's farm in Warsaw, Illinois.
You don't really follow a set of rules when you're fighting the flood. You just do whatever you can to get you by a few more hours with this type of flooding.
As the Mississippi rose, any hope of stopping widespread devastation sank.
The water level through this area, if you take a machine shed with about a 16-foot sidewall, would have been about 3 or 4 feet down from the peak of the roof through this area.
The National Flood Insurance Adjusters ranked the disaster second behind Hurricane Katrina.
I started farming in 1999. By 2008, I had a complete crop failure. If it weren't for crop insurance and the management of choosing the revenue policies that I had, I wouldn't still be here today.
It's a farming legacy that goes back about a century.
Our farm history goes back for almost 100 years now. What we're looking at behind us is a river bottoms that in the 1930s and 40s was just coming into production. And my great-uncle, or my great-great-uncle actually, had some business capital to invest. He was the inventor of a small little metal band that binds lumber together and started a steel company. And with that, he had a little capital to invest. So he started to purchase some ground and during the Depression and left on the tenant farmers that farmed that ground.
That tenant/land company situation is still in place today.
In our situation, we have a family-owned land company known as Hancock Land Company. Within Hancock Land Company, there are 3 tenant farmers: my father, myself, and another family that's farmed with the family or farmed with the farm for, well, 3 generations now.
Joe's portion covers 1,400 acres of that, and he rents a couple hundred more. While the river's capable of destroying crops, it's also the reason farmers still choose to farm here.
Our soil types aren't necessarily that great compared to a central Illinois or a northern Iowa. Our key to production is that we have a water table that's within 5 or 10 feet.
So even in dry years, crops do well. The river is also a key driver in what gets planted and why.
One of the keys of our area is that we are a large producer of non-GMO products, non-GMO corn and soybeans, and have been for 20 years. And the major buyer of that is actually a beer company in Japan.
The Mississippi River and his work at the Ursa Farmers Cooperative allows his grain to be shipped directly to those customers around the world.
All of the members, I mean, not just speaking for the board, but all of the members of the co-op have taken a lot of pride in really solidifying a good quality origination for non-GMO products and adding value to those products at the same time. Benefits the consumer, benefits the producer. To this, I mean, and right now we're looking at a $2 premium on soybeans, 50-cent premium on corn, and when your corn's back to $4, that looks pretty appetizing.
Proximity and dependence on the river gives Joe plenty to talk about as a farmer, and his work as president of his County Farm Bureau and other organizations is giving him a platform.
In fact, the first meeting I had in this new facility was 2 years ago, and we had 80 legislators, elected officials, we had individuals from the governor's office, and the point of which was to get them all together and to have their feet in our levee.
The decision to move from that coveted bottom ground onto the bluffs above is just part of his plan for the future.
I enjoy farming and I want to continue to grow, but growth to me doesn't always mean adding an acre. It may mean making the acreage that I do farm better and better, more productive.
He's also hoping to get back into the livestock side of the ledger, a business his family had to give up after flooding in 1993. Joe knows growing sometimes means stepping beyond the banks of what's comfortable.
Obviously, as a young producer, I'm always looking for that next step and pushing family sometimes harder than they want to be pushed.
But never breaking that family bond forged over a century of success and turmoil. Life's levees helping to guide Joe into the future.
The winners will be announced tonight in Chicago.